Hi, Reverend Tom here, and today we're looking at Psalm 112. And as I was looking into Psalm 112, I was drawn to notice just how similar it was to Psalm 111. And when you look at Psalm 111, you see that it's describing God in all of God's splendor and describing the attributes of God. And then you look at Psalm 112, and it kind of takes those attributes and gives them to us. Almost as if to say, this is who God is in Psalm 111, and in Psalm 112, this is who we should try to be, both who we are and how we should act. And this gets beautifully summarized in verse 9, where it says of the righteous person that they have freely scattered their gifts to the poor. Their righteousness endures forever. And first off, that the righteous person, the person who is good, who is living with God as a follower of God, is someone who isn't acting in their own self-interest, but they are freely scattering their gifts to the poor. The gifts of the Spirit, those gifts that God has given just to them. They're not using them for their own goodness, for their own advancement, but they're using them for people who have less, for people who need their help. And then their righteousness endures forever. And that to me is just talking about how they are always able to be in communion with God, how they're always able to come back to God no matter what happens. And sure, they might not live a perfect life, and they might make mistakes here and there, but the door is never closed to them because they're always following God, and they're always able to come back. As followers of Christ, we believe that there is only one person who's actually been able to live this throughout their entire life, and of course that's Jesus. But as we try to follow Jesus, as we try to be like Jesus in our world, in our daily lives, we become closer and closer to being that righteous person who is able to share their gifts with people who need, share those gifts that have only been given to you with those who need them. And that by following Jesus, we are able to come back to God whenever we stray. And that we're always trying to stray less and less and less. And so I pray that over this week you might take some time to discern your gifts and find ways to share them with your friends, with your family, with your neighbors, and that you might spend some time in God's presence. And I just pray that you would stay blessed, and we'll see you next week.